What if I told you that your quest for peace and happiness might be the very thing keeping you trapped in emotional limbo? Welcome to a journey of unmasking, a deep dive into the world of emotional avoidance. I'm here to challenge everything you think you know about relationships, self-protection, and what it truly means to be emotionally free. For those of you who've mastered the art of keeping others at arm's length, who pride yourselves on being drama-free, or who feel a twinge of panic at the mere thought of authentic commitment, this one's for you. It's time to face the music and confront the dance you've been perfecting for years. Let's start with a truth bomb. Your emotional fortress isn't protecting you, it's imprisoning you. That constant need to maintain distance, to stay in control, to avoid anything that feels too heavy or committed, it's not freedom. It's fear wearing a mask of independence. You see, the human psyche is paradoxical. The more desperately we try to avoid pain, the more we invite suffering into our lives. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push, the more forcefully it bursts to the surface. Your avoidance isn't just a quirk or a preference. It's a survival strategy that's outlived its usefulness. It's the echo of past wounds, whispering lies about what it means to be close to others. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I'm happy this way. I don't need deep connections. I'm fine like this. Are you really, though? Or have you just become so accustomed to emotional numbness that you've forgotten what true aliveness feels like? True emotional freedom isn't about avoiding feelings. It's about having the capacity to feel everything: the joy, the pain, the love, the loss, and knowing that you can handle it all. It's about standing in the storm of your emotions, feeling the wind and rain on your face, and realizing that you won't be swept away. That's true strength. That's true independence. But let's get real for a moment. This journey isn't for the faint of heart. It's going to challenge you to the core. It's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. You'll have to face the parts of yourself you've been running from, the loneliness you've been drowning out with busyness, the fear of rejection that keeps you from truly showing up in your relationships. It's going to feel like you're losing yourself at times. And in a way, you are. You're losing the false self you've constructed to keep the world at bay. But what you stand to gain is infinitely more valuable: a chance at genuine connection, at feeling fully alive. Now let's talk about what this journey actually looks like in practice. First, you need to become a detective of your own psyche. Start noticing the subtle ways you push people away, the excuses you make to avoid intimacy, the way you shut down when conversations get too personal. These aren't character flaws, they're clues. Each one is a breadcrumb leading back to the original wound that taught you it wasn't safe to be close to others. Next, you need to challenge your narrative about relationships. You've probably got a running commentary in your head about why getting close to others is dangerous or not worth the effort. It's time to question that story. Where did it come from? Is it still serving you? Or is it just a security blanket you've outgrown? Here's a tough pill to swallow. Your avoidance isn't just hurting you. It's hurting everyone who tries to get close to you. Every time you withdraw, every time you refuse to engage, you're sending a message. You're not worth the risk. How many people have you kept in emotional limbo, neither fully committed nor fully letting go? It's a special kind of cruelty, born not of malice, but of fear. Fear of truly seeing yourself, fear of the vulnerability required to love authentically. It's time to ask yourself, are you truly incapable of real love and connection? Or have you simply convinced yourself of this to avoid the risk of getting hurt? The truth is, you have the capacity for deep, meaningful relationships. What you lack isn't ability, but courage. This isn't about shame or self-flagellation. It's about honest self-reflection. Because only by acknowledging these patterns can you begin to change them. Now, let's talk about something that often goes unaddressed: the ecosystem of avoidance, the environment that enables and perpetuates your avoidant behaviors. You see, avoidance doesn't exist in a vacuum. Often it's reinforced by a social circle that mirrors and validates your patterns. It's a comfortable echo chamber where everyone sings the same tune of emotional distance and non-commitment. These relationships might feel safe, but they're a breeding ground for stagnation. You surround yourself with people who never challenge you to grow, who never push you to confront your fears or expand your emotional capacity. They're the friends who always agree that your partner is the problem, not you. They reinforce the idea that vulnerability is weakness, and that it's always the other person who's too needy or too demanding. They validate your excuses and cosign your emotional withdrawal. But let's be brutally honest here. How much have you truly accomplished in life hiding behind these walls? How much have these so-called friends achieved by avoiding deep connections and real challenges? It's a harsh truth, but these relationships often have a parasitic quality. You feed off each other's avoidance, each reinforcing the other's fears and limitations. It's a mutual enablement society where personal growth goes to die. This toxic environment serves as a comfort zone, but it's really a stagnation zone. It's a place where dreams wither, where potential remains unfulfilled, where life is lived at arm's length. Breaking free from this cycle isn't just about changing your own patterns. It's about critically examining your social circle. It's about having the courage to step away from relationships that keep you small, that encourage you to hide rather than grow. It might feel lonely at first. You might feel like you're losing your support system. But remember, true support doesn't just comfort you in your safe stuck zone, it challenges you to step beyond it. As you start to change, don't be surprised if some of these relationships fall away. It's a natural part of the process. You're not just changing your behavior, you're changing the entire ecosystem of your life. There's good news, though. You can learn to lean into the right connections instead of away from them. And it all starts with baby steps. Simple practices that gradually expand your capacity for emotional intimacy. Try this. The next time someone asks how you're doing, give them an honest answer. Not the polite, surface-level response, but the real, raw truth. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice the fear that comes up and choose to stay present anyway. Or this. The next time you're in a conflict with someone you care about, resist the urge to shut down or run away. Stay in the discomfort. Breathe through it. Remember that conflict doesn't have to mean the end of a relationship. It can be an opportunity for deeper understanding. These might sound like small things, but they're revolutionary acts for an avoidant. They're you choosing connection over protection, vulnerability over control. And here's something that might surprise you. As you start to heal, as you start to open up, you might find that your relationships actually become less dramatic, not more. Why? Because most of the drama in avoidant relationships comes from the push-pull dynamic. When you stop pushing away, when you learn to communicate openly and honestly, a lot of that tension naturally dissolves. You'll start to experience a new kind of peace. Not the false peace of emotional numbness, but the genuine serenity that comes from knowing you can handle whatever arises in your relationships. Now, I want to speak directly to those of you who are in relationships with avoidance. Your journey is just as important and challenging. Loving an avoidant can feel like trying to embrace a cactus. It's prickly, it's painful, and it often leaves you feeling hurt and confused. But understand this, your partner's avoidance isn't about you. It's not a reflection of your worth or your lovability. It's about their own unresolved wounds and fears. Your job isn't fix them. It's not to break down their walls or force them to change. Your job is to stand firm in your own worth, to maintain healthy boundaries, and to create a safe space for vulnerability, both theirs and yours. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for an avoidant partner is to stop enabling their avoidance. Stop accepting crumbs of intimacy and start asking for the full meal you deserve. This might mean being willing to walk away if they're not ready to do the work. Remember, you can't do their healing for them. They have to choose it for themselves. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. The journey from avoidance to connection isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about peeling back the layers of protection to reveal the vibrant, feeling, alive being that's been there all along. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you've disowned in your quest for emotional safety. So, I challenge you, take one small step today towards connection. Truly reach out to someone you've been avoiding to authentically connect with. Share something you've been keeping hidden. Allow yourself to feel something you've been pushing away. If this video has resonated with you, please share it with others who might benefit. Subscribe to join us on this ongoing exploration of emotional healing and authentic connection. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Share your experiences, your struggles, your breakthroughs. Thank you for watching.